As I mentioned, I'll be talking about some of my takeaways from the Advanced Smart Practicum, the very first one that Rational Acoustics had at their new headquarters this last week, and I'll be talking about the new enrollment for Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound. So let me hit that first, I'll get that out of the way, and then we can talk about the fun stuff with Smart. So, what is Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound? Well, what I'm going to do right now is just try to hit the bullet points really quickly because I have several other videos that go in detail into Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound. So Seeing Sound is my online course on sound system design and optimization. And if you want to go into detail into it, I'm going to put a link into the chat right now for this video. I actually have 6 videos about this. There's one video that covers the entire course that I just put a link to, and then below that, it's going to have a video for Module 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you really want to get into what this course is all about and whether or not it's a course for you and you want to take it, take a look at that link that I just posted. And there's a bunch of videos there, but right now I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So, do you want to create a reputation for consistency under any circumstances? If you do, I think you need to learn the physics of sound. You need to understand more about how sound travels through the air from the source to the microphone and then from the speaker back to the listeners and the audience. So this course is all about learning physics and what it can tell us about where we should put our speakers, how we should aim them, how we should EQ those outputs and adjust the crossover alignment, whether it be between a main speaker and a fill speaker or a main speaker and a sub, so that we can quickly and effectively maximize sound system tuning in any room. And by that, what I'm trying to describe here is that this course is very reactive. It is for people like me, probably people like you, who a lot of what their job is showing up on site, taking whatever they've been given that day, the room, the audience, and the equipment, and turning it into amazing sound, right? Which is what everyone expects of us in these days. They expect us to basically take any kind of room and any kind of circumstances that they give us and turn it into something really amazing. So that's what this course is all about. Using tools that we have with our equipment and in physics to really make that happen. Who is this course for? Well, it's for people like this. I just wanted to read this to you quickly because this is one of my favorite reviews. This came from my Facebook page, so if you want to see more of these, I'll put a link to that in the video as well. So here's the reviews page. If you want to see what other people's experiences have been like, who have gone through the course, one place you can do that is over here on the reviews page. There are 56 reviews, and you can go through them and kind of see if there's someone like you and see what their experience in the course has been like. But I just want to read this one to you. So Joe said that he's been listening to the Sound Design Live podcast for a few years, and he's always interested in the kind of topics I've been exploring there. The podcast led him to the course, and at first he thought to himself, this is an expensive course. So he took a look at it, and he wasn't quite sure whether or not he was going to enroll, but then he said, after seeing a preview video of the course, which I think he's talking about, I already closed the page, sorry. I think he's talking about those other videos that I showed to you earlier. There's a link to it in the chat here. After seeing a preview of the course with well-detailed analysis of a conference he'd worked on, I knew that the course content and delivery method was perfect for me. And what he means by that, course content, it's these 58 lessons that walk you through speaker placement, aim, EQ, and crossover alignment that the course goes through, okay? And by delivery method, what he means is that it's online, which is very different than normal courses that we go to for audio, right? Most of the courses that we go to are for a day, a week, maybe even a semester if you had a university, just like this course that I went to, this class that I went to at the Rational Acoustics headquarters last week. And then at the end here he says, I'm 100% confident that this course will improve my skills as an audio engineer massively. Thanks, Nathan, for making this available. Okay, I just wanted you to see what kind of person is taking this course is the main point of this here. So the course is for people who do concert, corporate, theater, live sound engineers who might not have the resources or time to take off a week of work and travel somewhere like I did last week to take an in-person course. Okay? And that's why one of the focuses here is that not only will this course improve your confidence and consistency through improved understanding of physics and equipment that we use in live sound, but it's going to allow you to do that by working at your own pace from anywhere in the world. So what I've heard a lot of people doing, a lot of students who go through the course, is that they could be at work, working on a show, and then they take a break, they're on their coffee break or whatever, and then they watch one of the videos. And then they can go back to work then and use maybe one of the new ideas that they got from one of those videos right away. And the other thing I want to point out here is that I consider this course, and I'm proud to say that it has the highest level of support in the industry. What that means is that I'm going to be with you for every step of the way. What I found, my own personal experience through going to a lot of in-person courses and seminars and classes, is that you get kind of this dump of knowledge, and then you go back home and you try to take action on those things, you go back to work, you try to do those things in the field, but then you have a lot of questions. So you have this list of notes that you've taken, in my case, or things that you've learned, but knowledge is not the same as understanding, right? So you have these things and you want to use them, but they're not quite in your hands yet. You don't quite have the understanding. So I wanted to create a course that would support you through that transformation. So that's why everyone who enrolls in Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound gets 6 months of 24/7 support through our online community, and you're going to get some personal lessons through me. We're going to meet over the internet, sort of like we're doing now, and I'll be able to answer your questions and help you with whatever challenges come up. Okay, I'm almost done with this, and then we're going to get to talking the stuff about SMART. I wanted to just answer a few of the main questions that come up about the course, because although they're spelled out pretty well here on this page is long. It has a bunch of stuff on it. So let me just hit a few of the main questions that come up. Number one, how long is this course? I understand that this is confusing because most courses have a time limit, right? You go to a class for a day, a workshop for a couple of days, seminar for a week, school for a semester. But I created this course to be different. I designed it to be for people like you and me that have constantly changing demands on our schedule, and we might not be able to show up at a class that happens every day. We might not be able to take off of work for a week to fly somewhere to take a class for a week, okay? So that's why you have lifetime access to the course materials. I will tell you that it takes most people from 4 to 6 months to complete this course. That seems like a long time. It takes some people even longer. Why? Because this course forces you to have a transformation, okay? Every one of the 58 lessons also has a homework assignment. So you can't just binge watch all of the videos and then say that you're done and you get a certificate and really nothing has changed. You are forced to take each of those ideas and actually try them out in the field. And then there's a little piece of homework that says, did you learn this thing? And then you prove that you learned it and you go on to the next step. So it's different in that way, and that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to give you lifetime access, because for some people it's going to take longer, and I'm fine with that. What's more important for me is that you actually learn something, have a transformation, reach a new level of understanding, than that you go through it at any speed. Okay, so how long is the course? It's forever. But it takes most people about 4 to 6 months. Another common question is, does this course teach SMART or Sat Live? This is not a course on software. It is not specifically designed to teach you SMART or Sat Live or any other piece of software or hardware. It tries to be manufacturer and equipment agnostic. This is a course on physics, the physics of sound as it relates to sound system setup and optimization. That being said, I use SMART, I use Sat Live. I've been using Sat Live for probably 12 years. I've been using SMART now for about a year and a half. And we have plenty of other people in the course, other students who use these pieces of software all the time. So if you have a question about SMART or Sat Live, I'm sure we'll be able to answer it. But if you want to learn specifically those pieces of software, that's not what this course is for. There are other places to do that. Rational Acoustics is the place to learn SMART. And if you want to learn Sat Live, you should go to the creator, Thomas Neumann, to do that. He has some videos and courses that he does online. Will you get a certificate? Yes. If you have any questions, please comment on this video now or send me a message any way that you can, and I'll be happy to answer it. The last thing I'm going to cover here is the tuition, because sometimes that's a little bit confusing, and then we'll move on to talking about SMART. So I want to cover this because there's always a little bit of confusion anytime you offer people more options, right? So if I just had one option and one button, there'd probably be less questions. But let's go through this. So tuition, there's a standard package and an accelerated package. The standard package has the entire course. It's got all of the lessons. You'll have lifetime access to all of that, plus any updates. You get 6 months of 24/7 support through our online community. You'll get to come to the bi-weekly live group trainings. By the way, someone always asks me when those are, and they're always at different times. So I try to rotate them so that different people can come, but they're usually on Mondays in the morning or the afternoon, so that depending on what part of the world you're in, you'll be able to make one of those. It comes with the 30-day guarantee and all of the bonus content and interviews that I have on there. The accelerated package is all of that plus some extra stuff. So if you are in a hurry to learn these things, you will probably want to meet with me more often so that I can answer your questions and help you with whatever challenges come up. And you might want 6 extra months in our online community. So standard comes with 6 months, accelerated comes with a year. Those are the main differences. There's some other fun bonuses down here that I think you'll like. So down here, the payment buttons. The orange is for monthly, the blue is for paying upfront. I used to only have payments up front. Later, I added the monthly payments so that I could make this a little bit more accessible to people who might not have the money to invest all at once, but do have the money to invest monthly over 6 months. There's one thing that I want to make clear here, because there have been a couple of people confused about this in the last couple of enrollments, the last classes. This is not a monthly payment plan. This is not a monthly payment that you just pay until you finish the course, okay? This is a monthly payment plan that I finance to help you get started and just make the kind of financial burden easier on you. But as soon as you enroll in the course, you'll pay this money, and then you'll pay that same amount of money every month, whether it's the standard or the accelerated, for 6 months. So I don't want you to think that if you start, you'll need to keep paying that for 2 years if it takes you 2 years in the course, or you pay 3 months and then you stop paying. No, it's the same amount of money whether it takes you 3 months or 3 years or 5 years. It doesn't really matter to me how long it takes you. Remember, lifetime access to the course materials. These are just 2 different ways for you to pay basically the same amount of money, although you do save a little bit of money by paying this upfront payment here. Okay, and lastly, this timer here, what is that? This is the amount of time that you have left to enroll in the course, okay? This is purely pedagogical, but I have found that it is better for me and it's better for everyone in the course if there are groups of students who start all around the same time. So every quarter or every 6 months, I will open up the course for enrollment again, and you'll have about a week to decide if it's time for you to join the course. So if it's time, you'll need to do that sometime in the next 6 months. Sorry, sometimes in the next 6 days, and then it'll close, and then maybe a quarter or 6 months from now, it'll open again. Okay, if there are any questions about anything that I've said today about the course, Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound, enrollment opens today. It will be open for the next week. It'll close on Sunday at midnight, so you can comment on this video and let me know if there's any questions. Okay, let's move on. So I talked about this. Oh, yeah, I just wanted to explain this page quickly. You may be looking at this course thinking, 58 lessons, 3 to 6 months? That's crazy. Why would I ever do that? I understand that. It's a big commitment. But that's not the only stuff that I have for learning. So if you go to sounddesignlive.com and click on training, I'll put that into the video right now as well. Okay. If you click on training, then you'll be able to see I have several other books here that range from $8 to $15 to get you started. Some smaller tools here. And then here's Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound, which I would kind of consider my flagship course. And then there are some smaller, shorter classes. So this one is like $50. This one is maybe $100. I can't remember exactly right now. But if you click on them, it'll take you to the page where it gives you all of the information. And that may be a better start for you. Maybe you would rather take a 2-hour course about the phase graph. Okay, maybe you would rather just take a course about EQ. Totally up to you where you're at right now. This is the course that contains all the steps in a step-by-step manner. Okay, I think I've said enough. I showed you the reviews page. So what did I want to say? So this is what happened to me last week. About 9 months ago, Jamie Anderson came to Minneapolis and he did the Smart Basics class, which I think is 3 days. And I took that, and that was great because I had just started learning Smart a few months before that. And he said that they were going to be moving offices the next year and that they hope to offer more advanced training, practicum, where people could actually get their hands on the equipment. And so that's what I did. And I think I should have opened it, but I have a few photos that I posted a couple of days ago. So what I'll say about it is that it was great. This is the first one they'd ever had at their new location, and it was pretty fun. They set up some different, what should I call them, groups. We were broken up into 4 different groups. They had 2 groups that were inside, 3 groups that were inside, and 1 that was outside. So outside they had an array with some subs and like a delay so that we could practice timing, EQ, crossover alignment. They had wireless microphones everywhere, which was fun and made things easy. At the stations inside, they had like kind of a recording studio set up so you could practice EQing like a single position and get, really specific with the EQ filters. They had another room that Chris was working in where he was showing us how the Harmonia software with their amplifiers, PowerSoft amplifiers, can integrate with Smart. And so you set up the API so that you can basically control Smart from Harmonia and then basically take direct action on the DSP in the amplifiers from their software. So by the way, all the things that I'm going through now, I want to do videos about in the future. And I'm not going to do that now because that would turn this into a super long video, but I'm going to give you an overview over some of my takeaways. And then I'll come back in the next few weeks and do more detailed videos on each of them. So then the last station was with Gavin, and probably my favorite part about that was that they had a projector set up so that you could see Smart really big, and they had a touchscreen set up so you could basically walk up to it and just, bang your hand on the screen and make changes to the sound system. That was really fun, and everybody got to practice doing EQ, crossover alignment, and they had a couple different speakers and a delay set up. So let me tell you about some of the things that I actually learned. I have my notes over here. Okay, so here's what I learned. And let me just grab a few of these. It was interesting for me to learn that Chris he likes to avoid low pass and high pass filters whenever he thinks that the manufacturer may have had those installed. So this is a whole conversation that could be a whole video, and I'll try to do one on this in the future. But in general, you want to avoid doubling up on processing, right? So you don't want to have, you don't want to be doing output EQ in your console, and then output EQ in your system processor, and then output EQ in your amplifier, right? You don't want to have like high pass filter, high pass filter, high pass filter, all this stuff on top of each other, because then you're creating, you're really magnifying the phase shift that you're creating, and as Chris calls it, the phase distortion. Most modern sound systems, modern loudspeakers include protection in their system like low pass filters and high pass filters, so you shouldn't need to include those. But if you want to make adjustments to the spectral crossover between two speakers, or not two drivers usually, but between two speakers like a main and a sub, what Chris does is he uses a peak filter instead for less phase distortion. So I'm looking forward to demoing that in the future. What's one thing I want to share with you about the station that Jamie did? This is kind of a small one, but I really liked it. A lot of times we over EQ, right? And it's because we have the power to. We have these really powerful tools now, and if we want to, we can insert 100 EQ filters to make one position of one microphone of one source ruler flat. That doesn't really help anyone and is generally a waste of time. But one thing I forgot about or never thought of is that if there's some place where you think a filter might need to go, but you're not sure yet, you can still place it there, put in your bandwidth and gain, but then just bypass it. And then you can come back and audition it later. So imagine that you are taking measurements, you think there needs to be a filter here, so you put all the settings in, you bypass it, and then later, after you're maybe done with everything, that would be a perfect time for you to kind of stand in the room, listen to your test tracks, and then take that filter in and out and see if it's actually making a significant improvement. And then this is another small one, but was a big surprise for me. I'm often trying to find the spatial crossover between two speakers, like a main and a fill speaker. And so what I'll do is I'll find the two on-axis points for those speakers, and then I will carry my measurement microphone and walk in between them until I find the point where they are at equal level. And the only way I know how to do that, or the fastest way, is to look at the live IR, as it's called in SMART, and watch the two peaks until they are about the same size. And again, this will be better when I do a demo in the future, but hopefully you can kind of imagine it. That is hard to do when you're looking at on a tablet screen and the live IR is super tiny, right? If you go to the settings for the transfer function and click on proportional panes, you can make that window a little bigger, okay? Seems very simple, but is a big improvement for me. So those were some of my biggest takeaways. Let me check the comments box now and see if there are any questions you guys wanted me to answer. So Andrew was asking about Pro Day Workshop Seeing Sound. He says, does it cover the general use of audio analyzing software, not necessarily specific software? Yes, that's exactly what it does. So Pro Day Workshop Seeing Sound does not teach any specific software, but it does use those softwares, and they're all pretty much the same, right? They measure data, they show it to us, and then our jobs are to analyze and interpret that data and decide what to do with it. Okay, so it relies heavily, I would say, on the 2-channel audio analyzer to make those decisions about what we're going to do with our system design and optimization. Cool. I think those are all the questions. Thank you everyone for being here. Let me just call some of you out. Manuel, Anthony, Lewis, Andrew, Kip, Bobby, Rajesh, Salaz, Fook Sound, Ronnie, Amit, Christina, Marcy. Great to see you guys. Thank you for tuning into this. I hope some of it answered some of your questions or was entertaining in some way. If you guys are watching this later, as I mentioned, feel free to leave any questions here. Anyway, those are some of my biggest takeaways from this smart training, and Priority Workshop Seeing Sound will be open for the next week. All right, I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.